Hey guys, TGKS Productions. So in today's video, I'm going to basically be talking about the two best VIP missions in GT Online, or at least going to narrow it down to two. I'm not going to go into a ton of detail on all these VIP missions just because there's plenty of videos out there that already do that. The VIP missions have been out for a few years now, so there are a lot of videos that cover that. I just sort of want to give more of my background or my reasoning on why these two are the best, or like I said, I'm going to narrow it down to these two, as well as I'm sort of going to split it into two different categories on, essentially the best VIP mission for a beginning player who really just sort of stepped into GT Online, they're just getting started, and then the best VIP mission for someone who is sort of already established, has some businesses, and has some overall experience in GTA Online. Now, I also do want to note that this video isn't particularly going to pertain to this week, as if you know, at the time that I'm recording this video, which is September 21st, 2019, the VIP missions in GTA Online are double money and RP, so it's not going to particularly pertain to this. Again, I don't want this video to just be, considered with this week. I want this to be able to be looked at and watched and taken into account and even applied, past this week's, double money and RP. So, just to sort of note as well is if you are trying to, grind the double money and RP VIP missions this week, one thing to kind of take into account is there is sort of like a way to eliminate the cooldown. Again, I don't want to take any credit for this because this has been out for a while and a lot of YouTubers have covered this. But if you are looking to just strictly stick to the VIP missions this week because they're double money and RP, there is a way to eliminate the cooldown. Basically, that you just got to run through the three VIP missions, which are Headhunter, Hostile Takeover, and Sightseer. Basically, after you complete the Headhunter, you just wait for the cooldown, and then start a Hostile Takeover, wait for the cooldown, and then start a Sightseer, and then from that point, you should just be able to repeat the process. Again, I don't want to take credit for that. That's been out for a while, but just sort of wanted to note that just because of the mere fact that it is double money and RP this week, but particularly this video is not going to be taking into consideration that. Again, I want what I'm going to be talking about in this video to be applied past this week. So basically there's two types of VIP missions. There's ones that are going to require you to own a vehicle in order to participate in, and then there's going to be the ones that basically anybody can participate in, whether you have a vehicle or a certain vehicle or not. And obviously the beginner is going to be focusing on the ones that do not require you to own a certain vehicle to complete or to participate in, and that can be completed by anybody. So essentially, the ones that obviously the beginner's not going to be able to participate in, I'm just sort of going to list them. They're going to include the following. So, ones like Plowed, Fully Loaded, Amphibious Assault, Transporter, Fortified, Velocity, Ramped Up, Stockpiling. Those ones, as well as also Piracy Prevention, you have to own a yacht for that, but those ones a beginner's not going to be able to participate in. And the ones that basically everybody can participate in, no matter what level you are going to be the following, which is going to consist of Headhunter, Air Freight, Haulage, Hostile Takeover, Asset Recovery, and then I'm going to leave Executive Deathmatch out. That's almost sort of its own category just because the mere fact that, one, it's not very profitable. Number two, you can't do that in an invite-only session, which I'm going to talk about in a second. And then you have Sightseer. So basically, those are the ones that, anybody can participate in. And out of the ones that anybody can participate in, the beginner is going to solely want to focus on really one to two of those. And the one to two of those are going to be mainly the Sightseer and then potentially the Hostile Takeover. And again, as a beginner, you're going to want to be doing these missions in an invite-only session because really at your level, there's really no incentive to be in a public session. You're not going to have any businesses that are going to require you to be in a public session. So if you're grinding, really these are going to be the only thing, unless you're grinding with friends or you're helping them out with their businesses. As a beginner, if you're going solo, like I said, there is no incentive of being in a public session. The best thing to grind at that level are VIP missions, and there's really no reason to make yourself susceptible to griefing, in a public session when you could be doing those same missions in an invite-only session. So, I recommend, and again, Sightseer and Hostile Takeover can both be done in an invite-only session. There are a few missions such as like Haulage or Air Freight that cannot be done in an invite-only session, but Sightseer and Hostile Takeover can. And the other reason why I handpicked those ones is, and like I said, specifically Sightseer because of the fact that with Sightseer there's really no combat involved, so you don't have to have really any good weapons. you could essentially do it with just a car you steal off the street. I mean, obviously it's gonna be more, beneficial if you had something like an air vehicle or whatnot, but you really don't need anything special to complete a sightseer. As long as you can get to point A to point B, which you could just steal a random vehicle to do that. That's all you really need to do. And I believe there's even a few vehicles in the interaction menu as a VIP in the VIP abilities, or not abilities or vehicles. I believe you can spawn a couple for free as a even if you don't own all of them. Most of them require you to own them. Otherwise, you're gonna have to pay a fee. Like the buzzard, for example. If you don't own the buzzard, you're gonna have to pay for that in order to use it. But I think there's a few that you can spawn for free. But again, there is no combat involved with Sightseer. You're essentially just picking up 3 packages and that's it. So it's a very basic mission, straightforward mission for a beginner. And again, if you're trying to grind them, obviously you're going to have a cooldown and, you're not going to be able to just keep repeating Sightseer. I would recommend maybe throwing Hostile Takeover in. That's probably the next easiest mission for someone to complete. It's essentially just going to, or at least the easiest one you complete in an invite-only session. Some people could argue that like, oh, haulage it would be easier, but again, you can't complete that in an invite-only session. So in that case, that's not going to be on the list. So I'd say Hostile Takeover, being that you can complete that in an invite-only session, you only have to take out a select number of NPCs, like maybe 5 to 10 to 12 NPCs, and basically just deliver a package to a drop-off. And you will have to deal with the police. Again, you could just call Lester for a small fee. So again, I recommend as the beginner to mainly focus on those 2 missions and, essentially just, if you're trying to grind VIP missions, those are going to be the 2 that you're going to want to focus on. Again, Sightseer and Hostile Takeover. Now for the person that's more established in GTA Online, still the same rules are going to apply for the VIP missions. Obviously the ones that are going to require a vehicle are still going to require a vehicle, and, there's certain ones you can do in an invite-only session, or there's only a certain select number that can be done in an invite-only session, whereas pretty much every VIP mission can be done in a public session. But mainly, at this point, if you're an experienced player, or you've been playing GTA Online for a while, you likely own some of the businesses, and probably even some of the weaponized vehicles. At this point, you're not going to be looking at VIP work as your main source of income. So you're not going to be really grinding VIP work. So you don't need to have really this whole list, or these, a select number of VIP missions that you need to stick with, or, grind in a sense, because you're going to have other businesses. You really only want to integrate these into your grind. And essentially, the best one, in my opinion, to do as, the person in this position would be the Headhunter. And I have some reasoning for that. Number one, as far as, the Headhunter being the best one, it is basically one of the VIP missions, or really the only VIP mission that basically can be completed the quickest and still earn really the max amount of profit. Most of the VIP missions that aren't going to require you to have a vehicle are going to pay out around 20 to 25,000, but they're going to take a little bit longer to complete. Whereas a Headhunter you can complete that the quick, and I'll even show example. You'll see me going through here the Headhunter and with an MK2 press, and then you'll see me going through with the Sightseer. You'll see that I do complete the Headhunter a bit quicker. And again, you're still getting paid around the same amount. It's maybe a couple $1,000s difference, which is very insignificant, but you're going to be getting paid the same amount with the Headhunter that you are with the Sightseer. And you'll even see this one Sightseer that I got, I feel like I got a little bit lucky with, because these packages were relatively close. On average, that's not going to be the case. It's not going to be as consistent as this. I mean, you can have a package that's in the city, then up, one that's up near, Sandy Shores, and you can have one that's all the way in Paleto Bay. The packages spawn sporadically. They're not always going to be that close together. Whereas with the Headhunter, as long as you start the Headhunter right around the main Maze Bank Tower, which is obviously the tallest skyscraper, the main skyscraper in Los Santos, you're going to guarantee that all those targets are going to spawn in the city. So that's going to make that, the Headhunters overall more consistent. And again, it's going to pay out the most and is the quickest VIP mission to complete. So, the quickest mission is going to pay out the max profit. Number 2, basically, again, this can be easily integrated into your grind. Again, you're not going to be grinding VIP missions solely once you have other businesses set up. Per se, if you're grinding the import-export business, you know that between selling vehicles, there's a 20-minute cooldown. So obviously, you're going to want to integrate something else in there. You can easily integrate, a Headhunter into your, grind. I actually have a video about this I made a couple months ago, but essentially you can quickly integrate the headhunter into your grind, and then maybe even something like a terabyte mission or whatnot. But it's easily integrated into whatever grind you're trying to do. It could even be special cargo crates, and it's still not going to take that long. It's one of the quickest ones that can be completed, and it actually works quite nice with import export. Like I said, if you watched my old money grind video, it literally between if you do a headhunter and then like a terabyte mission and then a source and sell car, it actually pretty much times out perfectly. So the headhunter is nicely integrated into a grind. The third reason why basically the headhunter is one of the best missions you can complete is because the fact that you're going to be participating in other businesses, obviously you're going to be in a public session. Now in a public session, you're going to be more susceptible to griefing. And the headhunter is probably the basically the hardest mission that a griefer can cause you to fail, in a sense. If you're doing something like a sightseer, for example, all they have to do is kill you and the mission's over. You're done. You're failing that. You're not going to earn the most amount of profit. Whereas with a headhunter, they can kill you an infinite amount of times. Unless that timer runs out, you can still complete the mission. And not only that, what else is good about it is the fact that the roles are sort of reversed in a sense that a lot of times griefing is consisting of destroying something, like destroying special cargo or destroying sourcing supplies or product that you produced. Whereas the tables are sort of turned here. They can still sort of stop you from trying to complete the mission, but again, they can't destroy anything, so it makes it more difficult. So chances are you're not going to end up failing the headhunter. And just from my personal experience, I've been attacked way more on a sightseer than a headhunter, and I just believe because most griefers realize, or people that are trying to prevent you from completing these missions know that it's a lot harder to stop somebody from completing a headhunter than it is for something like a sightseer. So that's another reason why the headhunter is so good, because you almost have a 100% guarantee of completing it, especially if something like the oppressor or the buzzard. Even if someone kills you 2-3 times, you're likely going to have at least 1 to 2 opportunities to still eliminate that target. So again, that's sort of another reason why I recommend the headhunter is the best VIP mission to complete as a more experienced GTA Online player. Now there is one thing I want to note that I was sort of skeptical about when I said it, but early in the video I said that during the hostile takeover you can call Lester to remove your wanted level. You actually could not do that, and essentially, I guess one workaround or two workarounds you can sort of have to this is, obviously, if you're a beginner, you're not going to own an armored vehicle. You can spawn the armored baller from the CEO vehicles in the interaction menu for around $5,000. And also, I'd recommend if you're going to do a hostile takeover, do the airport one, because obviously there's likely going to be an air vehicle there, which is going to you're not going to have to deal with the police, at least on the ground. You'll be able to get to your drop quicker as well. So those are sort of two workarounds. Again, I just sort of wanted to make that correction that I, just before I ended this video. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. I apologize for the length. I didn't intend it being this long. So like I said, sometimes I just get on a topic and I just keep going. But, I hope overall this video will prove beneficial to you, whether you're a beginner in GTA Online or a more experienced player in GTA Online. Again, hopefully you will get something out of this video. And hopefully it'll be, prove profitable for you in GTA Online. But anyways, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video, and also have a great day.